Okay, here we are again, and here's the canoe cut down. Cut the top off of it, and turned out pretty good. Anyway, now what I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to make the cockpit. And the cockpit is going to be oval. I'm going to have the top rounded and the bottom rounded. And in order to do this, I had to make a special jig. And I don't think you can see it from here. Let me get the camera here. But in this section here, this is what it looks like inside with all the ribs in it. Okay. And we get over here to this section here. This is dead. This is the center rib right here. And you notice it differs from the other ribs. I left a piece in here. And anyway, that's going to be the width of my cockpit. And so anyway, I had to make a jig, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of boxing, and I think boxing would look, instead of, you know, just boxing it in, I figure a nice oval here. So I'm going to bend some wood, and the way I'm going to bend it is I've made a jig. And what I've done is I've taken strips of plywood, okay, about a 2.5 inch strip of plywood, and I cut them down into like 4-inch blocks. And as you can see, I've cut the bottom like so. Okay, I've glued it and I've nailed it together with my nail gun. Next, what I did was I took this stick here, which if I move in close, you'll see it has a hole on this end and a hole on that end. And the distance between the holes is half the distance of the arc. Okay, the end. Okay, so I went and drove a nail in one end of this. Okay, I drove a nail in here, and I took my pencil and put in the other end. Okay, and then I swung it from side to side. When I did that, it gave me my pencil arc. I don't know whether you can see the pencil mark there, but it's there. There, comes all the way around. Then I stood these pieces up and I lined them up with the edge of my pencil mark. I don't know whether you can see that there. It looks like you can. And okay, so anyway, that gives me my arc that I will need to bend my wood around. I just hooked it right to the top of my plywood bench. I made 2 of them. Here's the other end. Okay, so when I made this, I'm going to put this camera back just 1 second here. Okay, so when I made this canoe, I had some leftover cedar. And so what I did is I took the cedar, 3/4 inch cedar, and I took it down to my son's bandsaw, and I made 4 thin pieces. When it's all glued together, it's going to be about 5/8 of an inch thick, which is plenty thick. I don't want to use too much wood, and I like to stay with the cedar because it's a nice light wood, and I like the kayak to be light. So basically, I've already tried it to see if I'd have any fractures, and if I just put one around there and try to bend it, it seems to want to crack. So when I put all 4 of them together, they kind of support one another. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue these together. I'll paint them up, glue them. The outside of this one I'm just going to wet down with water, the outside, and then I'm going to take them and I'm going to bend them around and I'm going to clamp it. And I'll leave it sit here for a day and harden up. And then from there, I'm not quite sure exactly what I'll do, how I'll tie it together. But I'm doing this all on the wing. I really don't know what I'm doing. But if anybody has any suggestions, give me a hand here. I'll gladly take them. So anyway, after I get these bent, I'll have to cut them off and fit the cockpit, and then I'll start doing the deck. I have to make some ribs for the top. Right now the ribs are flat. I'm going to make some ribs, not much, because any water I get on here I want it to roll off. And also on the side I'm going to put a gun on, or a gun wheel, all along the edge here. Okay, and that will give me something to tie into. So that's about it for this film. Okay, see you next one.